Your 401k gives you 47 fund options. You've had access to it for 3 years. You still haven't picked a single one. Your money just sits there in cash, earning almost nothing, while the market outside climbs 11% a year without you. 3 years. That's 1,095 days where you had the ability to change your financial future. And instead, you did nothing. Not because you're lazy, not because you don't care, because somewhere between option 1 and option 47, your brain simply gave up. It's not that you don't want to invest. You've opened the app a dozen times. Growth fund, index fund, target date fund, bond fund, international fund, small cap, mid cap, RIT, 47 options, each with its own chart, its own fee percentage, its own 5-year return. Every time you open it, you tell yourself, I'll research this properly this weekend. The weekend comes. You watch 3 YouTube videos, read half an article comparing expense ratios, open a spreadsheet you never finish, and close the tab feeling more confused than when you started. So you close the app instead. Nothing gets picked. Nothing changes. This has happened enough times. Now that opening, the app itself has started to feel exhausting, a small, quiet source of guilt you've learned to avoid, which means you avoid it, which means the decision gets pushed another month, then another. This has a name, choice overload. In 2000, researchers set up a jam tasting table in a grocery store. One day they displayed 24 flavors, another day just 6. The 24-flavor table drew more browsers and people love browsing options, but only 3% of them bought jam. At the 6-flavor table, 30% bought, 10 times more purchases with a quarter of the options. The same researchers found this pattern again and again in other contexts. Chocolate, pens, even retirement plans. In one large-scale study of actual 401k participation across hundreds of companies, every 10 additional funds added to a plan's menu was linked to a measurable drop in participation rates. More choice didn't empower people to invest smarter. It made a portion of them stop investing at all. Your 401k is that jam table. More options don't make the decision easier. They make it heavier. Each additional choice adds a small tax on your mental energy. Comparing fees, comparing 5-year returns, comparing risk levels, and eventually, the easiest decision becomes no decision at all. Not because you decided cash was safest, because deciding felt like too much work. And cash was simply what was left when you stopped trying. Here's what that costs you. $8,150 sitting in cash for 3 years, instead of invested at an average 10% return, is roughly $2,900 in growth you never got. Not because you made a bad investment, because you made no investment, and to your future self, those look identical. Stretch that same pattern across a career instead of 3 years, and the number stops being small. A single early decision delayed by even 5 years, assuming steady contributions along the way, can quietly cost tens of thousands of dollars by retirement, simply from lost compounding time. Compounding doesn't care why your money wasn't invested. It only cares whether it was. Coworker contrast. Your coworker, Maya, started the same job, same week, same 47 fund options. On day 1, she picked the target date fund, the one labeled with her expected retirement year, and moved on with her life. She's never touched it since. Hasn't researched a single other fund. Doesn't check it monthly. Doesn't second-guess it during market dips. 3 years later, her balance has grown by $4,100, not because she's smarter about investing, not because she got lucky with market timing, because she picked something reasonable in 5 minutes instead of nothing at all for 3 years. That's the entire difference. 5 minutes versus 3 years of standing still. If you ask Maya today which fund she picked, she'll have to check. She genuinely doesn't remember the exact name. That's not carelessness. That's what a decision looks like once it's stopped costing you any mental energy. The psychology. This isn't about intelligence. Smart, capable people freeze in front of too many options. That's the whole finding. Replicated across dozens of studies on decision-making. Your brain isn't built to optimize among 47 near-identical choices. It's built to satisfy. Find something good enough and move forward. That instinct served humans well for most of history. It just wasn't designed for a drop-down menu with 47 line items and a fee schedule in 8-point font. The irony is that in investing, good enough, done today almost always beats perfect, done never. A boring index fund purchased this. Afternoon outperforms. The ideal fund you're still researching a year from now is simply because it's been compounding the whole time you were deciding. Time in the market is doing the heavy lifting here, not the specific fund you eventually choose. The gap between the best fund on that list and the good enough fund is usually a fraction of a percent in fees. The gap between investing today and investing a year from now is a full year of missed growth.